Yes, we are live, folks, and Trina and I are just, kind of sitting back and just kind of getting into the vibe and the flow. I'm singing to her, and so we're doing good. So welcome, everybody, and hello, Trina. How are you?
I'm wonderful, Wayne. And how about you?
Any better, I'd be guilty. But then again, I was never that innocent to begin with. So I just want to invoke favor upon everybody, the warmest kind of favor. And may this day bring joy into your life, no matter what state of consciousness you're in. We say nothing missing, nothing broken be found in you. So welcome. Thank you, all the moderators. Man, I think all the moderators are in here. They're moderating, Trina. So, and lots of people, 55. There's a good number for us.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah. Well, now it's 60. But anyway, so Trina, how are you, my dear? How has life been?
It's good as the bells are chiming.
Yes. I love that. Well, they got to stay in sync.
Yes. Yeah, it's weird. Seems like I've been having technical glitches and other people have been too. And lots of things. My daughter's Instagram got hacked and all kinds
really?
of crazy stuff been happening with technology this week.
And this is completely off topic, but
yeah.
You think about hackers. It's like, what kind of existence is that? I mean,
it's just a thief. It's a thief.
It's like, why? Yeah.
And it just, it's like, man, they say all this stuff is so safe and stuff. It's not. It's like you're constantly trying to rectify breaches,
Here's the conundrum, Trina, is that we are in a electronic information prison. But the weird thing is that inside this prison, the prisoners can have their identities stolen and then propagated.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
we don't even own our own name. It's been copyrighted and it's owned by the Vatican. So
I contend this, as I said yesterday, none of us know our true name.
Nope. What I saw too, if we had a name, you wouldn't probably be able to even pronounce it because it would be a sound wave vibration bursting forth in light out of creation. So yeah, try to reproduce that. Have fun.
Someone sent me an email and appreciate it, and we've been on this, and we're going to get more into it. So they sent me this video, and it was a pretty cool video talking about 528. 528 hertz. And this is really interesting. I learned to play the clarinet, had to learn the chromatic scale. And we always thought that there were 6 scales to music, but actually there's 9. And apparently 528 is called the God frequency.
Wow.
In fact, they say that if you will listen to 528 hertz, you will begin to manifest things in your body. I've been thinking about what we're learning about servitors. Wow, think about that, Trina.
Yeah. 528. Yeah.
528.
You're onto the. I'm telling you, Wayne. Frequency. It is everything in our reality is based upon frequency. And most of us don't realize, but these frequencies are primarily coming from our hearts.
Here's something that's going to freak people out. So it appears that there is a death frequency.
Yeah, I've known about this for a long time.
Yes. So if you listen to this long enough into the background, it will kill you.
They had an experiment that they did. It was a long time ago, probably back in the 60s or 70s. And they had 30 kindergartners watch I think it was a 1 minute or a minute and a half cartoon, and they all died. Yeah, they had grand mal seizures, and they literally they died. I don't think every one of them did, but yeah, it was there is so much power to frequency, and there's so much that the subconscious field sees that we don't.
Yep.
And it's profound.
Rock and roll started out at a certain frequency.
Yeah.
That was the thing about the Beatles. You know, I think it was what, 420, was it?
432. 432 hertz.
432. And you saw the effect that it had. And the thing about it is, once these effects wave over us, it's interesting how we begin to see it. Now, you look at the young girls at the time, they were having seizures just by the fact that it was the Beatles.
Ecstasy.
Yes.
It was like a DMT overload.
Thank you.
I think you guys with that rock and roll, Woodstock, this was some of the biggest magic being put into our system ever. This was huge. Radio, television, and rock and roll. It transformed the world. And with those new frequencies, and some people, like, they like exploded. The energy was so powerful to them. It literally would short circuit their nervous system.
I remember an interview that Van Morrison did, and he echoed very much many other songwriters that he said, I plugged into something. And he says, I can't tell you what, but he said, when I was there, he said, the songs, the music would literally flow in. John Lennon was the same way.
Yep. They say
McCartney.
some of the most beautiful pieces of music that we've ever had were written in like 30 seconds on napkins.
Yeah.
You know, it's true.
It is. And
inspiration is instant. It's beautiful.
How does Beethoven, who was completely a deaf mute, actually write the symphony that he did? I mean,
I know how he did it, because he doesn't hear with human ears. He heard with celestial ears.
Yes.
And that's profound. And that's why the music that came forth from this man was divine.
Which leads me into the next thing when you think about this. So what were they plugging into? And you and I were talking before we came on, you know, and let me just pull this up. One of the things that I have to correct myself on is that the fact that I thought Einstein was the one who said that the ether did not exist. And this is wrong. This is that paper I made reference. We're going to be making more. This paper is blowing my mind. So Einstein said this. Contrary to what is often believed, Einstein was a strong supporter of the ether. He somewhat half-heartedly rejected it in his 1905 special relativity paper, writing, "The introduction of a luminiferous ether will prove to be superfluous." But in 1919, isn't it? 1919 is one of those years. Anyway, he apparently had second thoughts, since he wrote in a letter to Lorentz, "It would have been more correct if I had limited myself to emphasizing only the non-existence of an ether velocity, instead of arguing its total non-existence." And in his 1920 Leaden address, he finally resoundingly brought it back again. And this is the thing that got me. Recapitulating, we may say that according to general theory of relativity, space is endowed with physical qualities. In this sense, there exists an ether. Space without an ether is unthinkable. Not only would there be no propagation of light, but also no standards of space and time.
Yep.
Trina,
ether is, to me, the fifth element. It is
wow.
It is a
Well
profoundly
spoken.
Beautiful substance. Being learning when I went to school, that was when I first learned of the ether, and I'd always understood it on some kind of a deeper level, maybe because of my spirit guide being the Lord, and he was a very good teacher. But with that, I always knew that there was this invisible glue that held everything together. And I didn't know how to even explain it, because I knew it was in everything. It was in everything, but it's the ether. And then I was talking to the Lord about it one time. I was like, explain to me, like, what are we? And it was so beautiful because he held up his hand and he said, who, what, when, where, why. And then he showed me the earth, air, fire, water, ether. Yeah. And I was like, whoa, that's profound. And then I was learning the same things in school. And it was just confirmation on this massive level. It's like, oh my gosh. And then that's when I found out I could move energy and I could work with energy. And I learned polarity. It was just, it unlocked so many doors for everything that I would try to understand growing up. This just like put everything into solid science, reason, logic. So it's no longer mystical or magical. It's literally application.
What I see is that it brings, again, the spiritual aspect of our state of consciousness, our existence. And to me, if a person can begin to advance to believe and then begin to know that the ether exists, and within that, we all have that ability. I love how you said how you begin to learn to move energy and matter.
It's so natural to us.
Supposed to be.
It is. It is, Wade. It is so natural to us. I see people who have such breakthroughs with moving energy from their body. And it's like we can naturally do these things. We've just been so shut off. And this is our connection to nature, connection to the elements. We are made of elements.
Yeah.
So our cutoff is all about the way we think. It has nothing to do with the truth of who we are.
It just brings to the fact that the lack of knowledge on this subject, and it's not, I don't think it's a lack of it. I think it's the way that it's been defined and hijacked by other dogmas. Because if you begin to say to the common person, did you know that you were created out of the ether and that it is a substance that you can actually harness while you're in this physical world that will help make your life, at least through this journey, much more tenable?
Yeah. Most people are like,
what are they going to say? No, take that trash away. I don't want that.
Yeah, they're like, I don't understand one thing that you just said. Yeah, they don't get it.
Yeah, they look at you going, I believe in, God. Well, that's good.
And the news, what I see on the news, and what my physician tells me and what my government tells me, and they're so in the box, they can't get out. Yeah.
Oh, they are in the box, I'm telling you. And they say that which we are most passionate about, that as we progress through this journey in this temporal plane, that passion will begin to form the next reality that we temporarily find ourselves waking up in after what we call death.
Yes, because I think we're drawn like a magnet to that what we vibrate at. So it's all about vibration. It's so true. It's just like Tesla. If you can understand the secrets between frequency and vibration and light, you will understand everything. It's so true because we are vibrational existence. We're like vibrating water.
Yes.
And the ether is a form of water. It's the more I learn, it's like everything seems to be water in a different form. And I think that might be the Holy Spirit. And that's how you connect
the next level.
To this intelligence, this universal cosmic intelligence. I think it's through water.
The embryonic fluid is what I see the ether as being.
Yes. That's
because
what I see too.
It's the only thing it can be.
Yeah. Dark matter, all of it. It's all different waves of water. And the water is the conductor for light, which is the conductive force for information. And I can see how it's all beautifully working together as one, because without the life or the father, the mother can't function as the spirit. It's like they're intimately connected.
Well, I think that's the thing that's coming back as well. Is someone sent me a website in which I thought was very spot on. I think what we're seeing as the decline of Christianity, and I think this will go well with the other Abrahamic male patriarchal type of monotheistic belief systems, that before this came in, this virus, humanity, let me just say it that way, worshipped the goddess, which would, I think, is the true form of the Trinity. That when she is going to be restored back to her rightful position, I think that truly that our species will have the opportunity to ascend or to regress back to the current belief in the world system today.
I think you're absolutely spot on.
Well, thank you, ma'am. That makes me happy.
It's true, because, like in the Bible, they talk about you must marry the two.
Mm-hmm.
This is what they're talking about, that magical marriage. It happens in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
And it happens with blending the masculine and the feminine together.
I more readily see in my inner core the feminine, the goddess, as the great thing about a pyramid is that no matter how you turn it, what was on the bottom will be on the top.
Yep.
And that's the interesting thing. So I see it now is that I don't have a problem accepting the feminine, the aspect of that creation that requires the other side. It has to have that balance. And with that balance, miracles are created every day.
Yeah, because it's so funny. It's something about the water. I'm telling you.
It's
going back to the water always. And the Lord always told me, he says, you want to fix the world, you'll fix the water. And it is because we are water, 86% water. We are, as humans, everything has water in it. This is the living waters. We are the living waters.
It may be why they try to, I always find, to drain off. You look at what we have to eat, and everything is based upon water soluble. And, if it's like we were talking on this death frequency, is for what was it out? And I'll get the number right. Maybe someone in the chat room will see it. But in any case, you know what it's laced behind? Primarily rap music.
Wow.
Think about rap music.
Wow, that's a hard frequency. Yeah.
It is. It's debase. It's debase. And yeah.
That's so root. That's so primal. That's so put you into fear. That's so fight or flight. Oh yeah, that's not a good frequency for water.
No. And you start vibrating at that particular frequency, which is you can feel it. The thing about it is that's an interesting. I don't find it to be music, but it's not my taste. But nevertheless, when I'm around it, I have to put myself on guard because I find it to be a very dark energy.
Yeah, I've seen some rock and roll too that carries.
Oh yeah, let me tell you,
you
get into that grunge.
Rap, but yeah, I rap it. Rap's a really hard frequency for me. I can't process it very well. Yeah. But these frequencies, like I said, we need to learn to pump 528 hertz. Like, it's so funny you mentioned that, because yesterday I was cranking 528 hertz. And I was just like, when you're saying that, I'm like, that is so weird, because literally that's a specific frequency. And normally I'm doing 432, but yesterday I was like 528.
Yeah.
It's so weird. So maybe there's a call right now for all of us to really start pumping this frequency into our world, because, we are the ones who do this.
Well, this group here I think we've gone above the point of debating about the synchronicities. It runs rapid in this community. So,
like we're thinking each other's thoughts all the time and we don't even know it.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Someone was saying it's not about the bass, it's about that space. Well, I like the rhyme,
Yeah.
so I'll take that anytime.
And
So
some rap I've heard that was good. It didn't have a bad frequency, but most of it does have a hard frequency. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I like I said, the what I've heard so much is just I don't
You
know.
got to figure
It's
too, Wayne, I just heard it's about the blues. Remember when we moved from the blues into rock and roll, what a shift that was in consciousness?
yeah,
And this is the same thing. The rap was kind of bringing back the blues,
yeah,
that
but when
bluesy
I think
vibration.
about
Yeah.
the
So that's what I just
blues,
heard. Yeah.
in fact, I lost the album. I had one of the original Robert Johnson albums when Robert Johnson was a black singer in the late 20s. And he was one of the, they would say, the founders of blues.
Wow.
And I had the opportunity to meet BB King. And, again, and by how interesting that this is coming out. So I'm sitting here thinking, the time I met BB King was in Knoxville, Tennessee, and he named his servitor, which was his guitar, called Lucille.
Yeah. Light bearer, Lucifer. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's what he played. That's what he called his guitar. It was
Yep.
Lucille,
I'm
and
telling you, there's so much more, and people have all this bad connotation of Lucifer. We need to know in this construct, everything is dual.
well, yeah,
There's
yeah.
Lucifer, the beautiful shining angel, and there's Lucifer that's not so happy. Everything here has an ego, a little mind, everything. People
Well,
need to
that's what we're
understand.
discovering with the thought forms.
It's the way it is. It's the way I've seen it
Everywhere,
always. And it
baby.
was the hardest thing for me to grasp a concept on this, because to look at like my guide, the Lord, to have an opposite aspect, which is definitely would be equivalent to like Satan. That was hard. Everything here has that polarity. Everything, everything.
Yeah, but then I asked myself the question, for myself. Now, I don't believe in Satan. I don't believe in Lucifer. I don't believe in the
It's
devil.
like I said, it's not a thing. It's a thought form. It's
Yeah,
what you believe. It's, are
yeah,
you living in the accuser mind? Are you in
yeah.
the ego? Or are you in the positive, creating present moment? These are two different mental states.
Agree with you. Because if I had the chance to meet with Lucifer, I'd love to sit down and have a cup of tea. I mean, that would be an interview of all interviews.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, to me,
I wonder if you could truly even sit in the presence of that vibration.
probably not. I
Probably
mean,
not. Yeah.
yeah,
That's what
you
I'm
would
sitting
definitely
there
have to
thinking. I don't know how
ascend.
close you could get to that, because it might make your body like dissolve or something.
Well, you can at least send it through the universal translator, but the presence
Yeah, you can.
of, such, if the personification did exist, then I can understand potentially why would people would be so in awe of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
we're
hello?
vibrating so low.
Yeah,
If there's anything that shows up that's vibrating of true light and it's emanating light, we're all going to see, oh my God.
mm-hmm.
We're all going to think we're looking at a God. And in essence, kind of we are. You know, it's kind of like, because we're in a human body. Okay, the higher realms look at us like cute puppies,
Yeah,
just like we look
I
at our
would agree
puppies.
with you. And yeah, yeah,
Because like we think we understand so much and we don't, because we're dumbed down in the human flesh. It's like we need to once you're not in the flesh and you realize that you're not your body, then you can integrate from your true aspects of your higher being. But right now we're in monkey suits.
Trina, I don't know if you can see my shirt, but this shirt is the triple helix. Now,
Ah,
I want to say this. The reason why I got this shirt was because there is a thought that says that when we were captured and we were put into this physical realm, what they did was strip the Trinity from us, which is the third strand of DNA.
yep, yep,
And
yep.
it's
I
why
think
the
you're
two
absolutely
strands
right.
break down.
Yep, I think you're absolutely right, because everything is formed in a trinity here. It always starts with the fire, the Trinity. And then the Trinity goes into the 4, which makes the 12 base set. That makes perfect sense. Boom in my mind. I'm like, yep, bingo, Wayne.
Well, and once in a while I do bring out
Yeah,
no, seriously.
that's beautiful.
You think about it that, maybe it is in fact the reason why we are limited in our intelligence. We're limited in our lifespan.
Yes.
We're limited in our view because we're finite and we're missing that strand.
Think about it, Wayne. What if we activated the 3rd strand organically and it would reactivate all 12?
Now we're getting on to something.
Because I'm thinking if you wake up that original Trinity, because I've seen this in the human body, we have 3 minds, the monkey brain, our heart, and our gut. And when all 3 of those agree, that's when we see miraculous things happen. I mean, flat out miracles. So this is like blowing away all the rules of matter and physics. It defies them in such a brilliant capacity. It's mind-blowing. So what if that is the missing element, is the shutting off of that 3rd strand?
Think about it.
Organic base 12. But to get back to our 12, we have to reignite that Trinity. Wow.
What would that do to our brains? What would that do to our spirit?
It might be like the movie Lucy.
I'm singing this Megamaniac. Like, I got a huge head now, man. I can really think, but the spirit.
We might get God consciousness. And
isn't there
really
you
hard.
go. Could
yeah,
you
that might be really
that?
hard to process in a human mind. It's like Lucy says, I'm becoming one with everything. That could happen.
I'm very serious about this. I think it is the missing aspect that
Wayne, that would be the ultimate ascension.
Wouldn't it though?
Holy smokes. That would be the Mac Daddy of all. Wow.
I mean, you think about what geneticists are doing now through the manipulation of the genetic code in the DNA. Mm-hmm. Imagine, if we had, and I think that is what's missing in us, is that it may be dormant, it may be, I don't know, absent, but I do think that this is how we started out.
I think we started out with light bodies.
I think we did too.
What you hear, like the boneless ones, but I still see they have form. Yeah. They have form. They have bodies, but there's not skeletons and there's not blood, and it's a different body. But so I think that was our original image, was these light bodies. So when we got brought into flesh, they had to shut that light down and fractal it and close it off somehow to get us into flesh. And the Lord would show me, sin is the skin you're in, because he was like, to get into this sleeve, you got cut off from source. And like, you get amnesia, you forget who you are, you forget the heavenly realms, you forget all of it. And it's because of this, this flesh we're in.
And then when you begin to see it, there are those of us who are doing it. I don't know if it's a cosmic energy. I don't know what it is, but there is a change taking place in our species. Mm-hmm. And I see for myself, Trina, there truly is a split taking place.
I knew there would be.
Yeah.
A division. I knew there would be.
Yep. And, we have such a opportunity as a group. And I still say they're allowing us to have this. And this is why we have to become much more knowledgeable.
It's so funny, Wayne. I just keep hearing they have to allow it because the polarity must exist.
That's a good point.
They have to. They have no option.
Yeah.
But which one's going to tip the scale? That's yet to be seen.
Well, now that's an interesting point, because you think about it. We're going to be tomorrow. We're going to be discussing how to charge our servitors. And by the way, folks, if I told you I would do this, and I did. So I've created a Word document that will take you through step by step of exactly what you need to do in actually bringing to life your servitor. Now you had a kind of a unique insight on this when we first started talking.
Yeah. It was beautiful because I never thought of such a thing. And it was like, my whole entire childhood, I had the Lord as my invisible friend and spirit guide, and other beings I could see too. And I have a connection with mythical creatures and all of this stuff because I could remember different dimensions. So with those dimensional remembrances, like a unicorn, I have an affinity with the unicorn. In one of the realms, I can remember I have a unicorn and his name is Charlie and he's hilarious and we can talk. So these are beautiful, imaginative or dimensional existences that I have in my mental construct. And to utilize those tools as strengths in this reality, that's like bringing heaven to earth in my mind.
Ooh, I like that.
So to bring my support system from realms and times of great advice, support, laughter, those are beautiful tools to put in my toolbox in this here and now.
So I'll share a little insight that I got thinking about this, because, as you go about your day, the most interesting thing I have become more aware of the fact is the inner conversation that takes place inside of me.
Yeah.
We all do it.
Oh yeah, and it's the greatest work. It's to
It is.
control
It is.
internal chatter. Yeah. Greatest
And
work.
I heard this in my head. There's a lot of us in here, and the servitors.
Absolutely.
I mean,
not only that, Wayne, I think every single one of the planets in our solar system, the 7 planetary bodies that control our 7 chakras, I literally think they can directly influence us, and they put thoughts in our head and give us inspiration. They work on both aspects because they're working through the ego and they're also working through the divine mind. So with that, they're working with both. So it's just like the serpent going up the spine. You have 2 lines, receptive, sending. It's always working in polarity.
I was the other night with the full moon, I was getting my moon tan and was just sitting out there, and literally I was getting a moon tan. Made my nipples hard because it was really cold. But anyway, but anyway, the point was that there is an energy to this. There really is, and but it's so true. I mean, there is an energy. And now you can say, well, it's merely the psychic part of it. That's cool. Yeah.
You know what I see when I see moon energy and sun energy? I see moon energy as silver and I see sun energy as gold, and they're both working in those polarities in the body. One's more working with the autonomic nervous system, and then the silver is working with the parasympathetic nervous system.
I was using these Aurora glasses I got, and my dog Dancer loves being out there because the rabbits are out there in the full moon. And what I began to discover is that this energy that's emitting now, why am I just now discovering this? I've been, how many times have we seen full moons in our lives?
Right.
Yeah.
We've been taught that it's spooky. That's when the lunatics come out. We've been taught all this bad stuff about it.
There we go.
Like, no, these are the receptive energies. This is like, okay, if you really start working with polarity, you use the sun to manifest and create. You use the moon to receive.
Oh, and it's powerful.
Yeah, it's natural. It's how it works.
And, you think about it, someone was saying, that when you think about when you go out and you see people tanning, so what they're doing literally is absorbing this radiation that is changing.
And that's information too. They're different waves of information, but it's all information. So yeah, we need both.
And I found that the moon, when I was meditating out there, it is the feminine.
Yes.
There is a feminine feel to it.
Yes. I've always thought that too. Yeah.
Well, thank you. I'm glad when you get to
this. You know what though, Wayne? I think you're connecting to the true moon. Like I see a great central sun, and then I also see a great central moon.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you're connecting to the true moon, because the one that we see here, that's not the real
That's
lunar.
not, no, this one is, there's a kingdom. There literally is. I mean,
Yeah.
and I know this sounds far out, folks, but
Yeah.
I was beginning to get the sense that a person, you can literally press your spirit into that realm, and there is another world out there. I was getting close, Trina. It was really weird. I was getting cold is what I was getting at that point, you know, but
Yep. Yeah, it's very, very tangible. Yeah.
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 How
I don't like
interesting.
the moon energy. I've gone there a couple times and I'm like, nope. Nope, not for me. Nope.
And you can see it. It's a light that you know.
It's a frequency, and it's got
Yeah.
activity, and there are things there, and they're not there. This is part of the matrix grid soul harvesting construct part of it. It's all technology.
Yeah. Well, you mean as far as what?
The moon we see.
Oh, yeah. That one, that one will
Technology.
play. You know, there's two aspects of the spectral vision.
Yeah.
You know, there's that which we see, and there's that which we don't see.
Yeah. Which is the
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
Which is the true existence. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I swear it's just they're going to do it. Eventually, the cyborg eye is going to come in, and it's my contention that when they start doing that, it will begin to change us fundamentally, humans, because I think it's going to open up. I think it's going to open up certain realms of sight that we're going to be surprised what exists right next to us.
Yeah. Right.
I'm just saying, I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
People could be freaked out if they start seeing what's really all around us.
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah, when you get a glimpse of it, it is kind of spooky. You're like, whoa, there's stuff everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I contend that when we pass on to that next realm, we lay these physical bodies down.
Mm-hmm.
There's a sight that obviously we have.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, from everything I've heard from people who have, you know, been in contact on the other side, they see us, we can't see them.
Yep. Yeah, because I think once you're released from the physical body, you return to your natural state of being, which is you travel by thought, and it's instant.
Let those who have eyes see, right?
Yeah, because I've seen the ones come from the other side, and I could see them. And that was like, whoa, you're dead. So yeah, I've been able to see them, and I know that they have this ability.
Is that being racist to call a dead spirit that you're dead? Like the spirit's going, well, now wait a minute.
I think because we're actually the dead ones.
Exactly.
Like, I'm not dying, you are.
They're going, now just wait a second here, sister. You may think that I'm dead.
Exactly. Like, fool, you're the one who's going into the tomb, not me. Yeah, they're like, no, it's your turn.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. And I you know, it's the most amazing thing, because I keep on thinking about this. All right. So all my life, I have been told that there were boundaries, you know, because I was into the Christian faith and was a devoted Christian. And however, I had a natural instinct, an intuitive draw to the spirit realm, that which is not of the physical body.
Yeah.
Okay. So hear me out on this. So we have these laws, these rules. But how can that be if a spirit can violate those laws by interacting, intermingling on this side when they're on that side?
Because I think it's all about vibration. And they only have access when you're in certain vibrations.
So would vibration exceed what we would call the physical laws?
I think so. Yeah, because I've seen physical laws be broken apart through a shift of vibration. So yeah, I would have to say that's probably accurate.
Yeah.
You've seen miracles, Wayne. That's breaking all the laws of physics and matter right there. Done. Boom. Poof. Broke instantly. Transformation is instantaneous. It's done. So, wow.
Trina, I just had this thought that this is the whole issue. Materialism. So many of us, and I speak for many of us that are like this, we know we're living in another world. There is a spiritual realm. You can call it whatever it is, but we're immersed in it. And I think sometimes the frustration is that we can sense it, we can almost feel it. And some of us at times get glimpses and can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And I wondered, you know, it's like sometimes I wonder if this is a lot of why people commit suicide, because they actually have an awareness of this. So, you know, but once they do it, then they're like, oh shit, I broke my contract. You know what I mean?
Wow, it's interesting to say that. I literally, before we came on live, I was reading the suicide rates for young males is escalating to a point where it's becoming, you know, an epidemic.
Yeah.
This is very interesting. Because I think we can change that.
I do too.
I really do.
I definitely do. Because like I said, this is about frequency. What part of the brain are you letting talk? That's where free will comes in. We can decide what kind of chatter we allow into our mind. That is your only true defense, is controlling your vibration. And your vibration is set based upon your thought patterns, because that is producing a vibration through what you're feeling, because thoughts and feelings are one. We have to start understanding, we have to start operating with the three brains in our body, because when you can have all three that agree, you can literally, that's when you will see miracles happen. Straight up miracles. It does not, it's unbelievable. I've never seen such a powerful thing, is this power of belief. And that belief, it turns into a knowing. And that when that knowing anchors in all three brains in your body, you will manifest it instantly.
See, that's the point.
True magic.
Because I believed in a belief systems, but I didn't know the system for which I was believing in.
Yes, you didn't feel it intimately in your knowing part of you, which is a whole different resonance. It's a whole different frequency. And I always say nothing's real until you feel it. You literally have to become that and feel it. And it's like when you touch a stove for the first time, nobody ever needs to tell you again that that's going to hurt, because you felt it. You know, mom and dad can tell you, don't touch that. It's hot 100 times. But until you experience it,
you now know.
A whole different level. It's a program. And it's like,
I can believe mom and dad, but now I know what mom and dad, you know.
Right.
Yeah. You know, that's kind of my, not kind of, it is, it's my goal to help teach people that there doesn't need to be lack in our lives. Now, there's a difference between being what I call wealthy and that which is being rich. There is a wealth that exceeds what riches can obtain.
Absolutely.
And that's what I'm trying to teach people, is that if you can understand this, then the universe will meet your needs. You won't have any needs.
When you just said that, I heard your treasures are in heaven, and I heard elevated dimensions.
Yeah, girl.
Like your treasures are in heaven, in the higher dimensions.
That's it.
And we need to start connecting heaven and earth. That means our mind. What we think about, what we deem possible or could be potentials. We need to start dreaming bigger dreams. And you know, it's like you were talking about these servitors. Am I saying that right?
That's right. Yeah.
Servitors. This concept, I was wondering when you brought that, you know, and you're going to create something that can help you, like an invisible friend, a spirit guide, an actual tulpa, a thought
Yes.
form. And we do that with religion, and it's always been taken outside of ourselves. This could be the bringing back in of our own intuition, our own inner wisdom and knowledge, which that leads to the feeling, which leads to the knowing. And I think this is a way to flip the script on that whole indoctrination that we've been taught to go outside for help.
Yeah.
Because we do know that we go outside for help. This is like what I knew as a child. When I had a question, I just go talk to my spirit guide. I knew he would tell me. We have this support. So it's been flipped on us that we have we aren't the ones actually producing the information. Because I believe now in this construct, when you have a thought of a question, you will bring in a higher aspect to get that information. And it's coming from you through you. But we've been taught it's coming from outside of us. But we're connected to everything.
Could you imagine that if our society, our culture, our collective intelligence of humanity, if we would tear down those walls that have been separating us and begin to acknowledge it as a species, that we're just one of many? Wow, maybe that days where, you know, they say Middle Earth and the Upper Earth and the regions once times walked hand in hand together.
Yes,
I do believe that.
I do too, before the energy got dropped down.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I really do. I really do. And you keep saying a virus. They showed me that it was a virus
I think it
injected into
is.
the light bodies that transformed light bodies into flesh bodies. I literally saw genetic transformation. And, you know, they say the serpent came into the garden and la la la. This is genetic manipulation. I think this is what happened.
I absolutely agree with you 110%.
Yeah.
It's you see?
She wants out. Hold on, I'll be right back.
Okay. She was agreeing with us, like, yeah, I want to go out. I mean, our animals can see them,
Oh,
you know?
absolutely.
Yeah. I catch Dancer all the time. She'll be, you know, laying right beside me and I'm reading, and she'll immediately will look up and follow
Good boy.
something that's going by.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, when I was a kid, I didn't have any neighbors and I used to spend a lot of time with nature. And I could understand what was going on in my entire environment by paying attention to them.
Mm.
Yeah.
Someone said that if we hadn't lost what we knew to be true as a child in what we call imaginary friends, they're not imaginary, they're as real as anyone else.
Yep.
And isn't it odd how adults work so tirelessly to get you to stop believing that?
Well, yeah, that's because society does not want you to have this connection. They don't want you, because if you have this connection, you don't need somebody to tell you. You know
Yeah,
you can
yeah,
find it on your own. You don't need rulers. You don't need laws. When you truly connect to the collective consciousness, which is connected to the source of all, when you can tap into these realms, you have a knowing. Like, if you would never go and hurt somebody or steal, it's just part of, you understand the ramifications of it's going to happen to your soul. You evolve with this wisdom because you understand not only are you participating, you are going to be held accountable for what you are. And that's
yeah,
based upon what you hold in your mind. And that is sent out to the world through your heart by default. So it's time now, we have to literally control the chatter in our mind, balance our mind, work with our dark self, work with our light self, put them in balance, because in that balance, you get into 0 point. And when all three agree, you manifest powerfully in this reality. And we can manifest in this reality because we're doing it, but we're doing it by default. We're not doing it consciously, aware, and in the present moment. And when we start doing this together as groups, it will cause those huge ripples in the magnetic field.
I think so.
They will return and manifest.
The paper that we're going to be dealing with more on the ether is just that. It is in fact the substance of what we would call the electromagnetic field. You can call it whatever, that substance that is now we're finding throughout the whole universe.
Yep.
We're discovering more with these, what they would call a black hole, that in fact, we're finding now that the theories are, they have to throw them out, because now we're finding magnetism. We're finding, a number of other elements, waves, particles, all combining in frequency. They all make a sound.
Oh, yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
And the whole cosmos is a symphony.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful, beautiful music.
Yeah. It's becoming very interesting to me as we continue to push forward. Tomorrow, when we're going to continue to finish up on how to actually activate a servitor.
Mm-hmm.
So hear me out on this. So I got Donald Tyson's book, How to Make and Use the Magic Mirror, and I'm reading in the back of here. And I'm going, oh boy, we folks, we've only kind of just begun to press here, but think about this, Trina. What do you think of the possibility of creating a servitor to actually go in on your behalf into a black mirror?
I just wonder if it might trap the servitor.
I don't know.
Like a genie in a bottle, and that could be bad. I wouldn't want to be trapped. I wouldn't want somebody to create. That's like what happened to us, Wayne.
Maybe
somebody
it is
our light and threw us into tulpas.
How about that?
Yeah, so that got you
Yeah.
there. Whoa, that could be not what you're intending, because you want to get free of something similar. Don't recreate that which you're trying to escape, is literally what I heard.
We can't send a phone line through there, I guess.
Yep. I literally, I think the most powerful way to create any of this is through your heart.
Oh, I think that if you find that if it's outside the realm of, this is how I balance it. So who's this benefiting? What's the purpose? Why?
Yes.
And is it really necessary? I mean, it's one of the things why I don't do a lot of the magic that came through the Middle Ages. I can't. For me, Trina, I just cannot see myself bowing down to another spirit.
Yeah, I've never, ever in my life done like anything that's from anybody else. I always work my own ways, my own heart. And always the first question I ask before I try to manifest or send out anything, is this selfless or selfish?
Bingo.
And if it's selfless, then I know I have the blessing of the universe. So it will manifest.
When I made my first magic circle, I mean, I began to understand why you want the double circle. And then I began to understand why the creation of your own personal sigils. And, for the first couple of times I did that, and I know you and I have talked about it, I sat there and I didn't hear anything.
Mm-hmm.
It was quiet.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And then start to hear.
Well, and that's the point, because it is your own personal magic.
Yes.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the most powerful if it is your own.
Yes, I agree.
I'm saying all of us are unique vibrations. We can't copy or match each other because we're not supposed to.
I don't think it's possible.
I don't either. I think and all of our beautiful vibrations produce a symphony.
Yeah.
It's a symphony of sound, and it's all of our different sounds. And that
when I meditate,
magical.
Talking to the spirits out there, I keep asking myself, all right, Steiger, how many of them don't speak English? Mm-hmm. But now I say that just in jesting, but the point is that often we take things so much for granted, is that in communication that everyone's going to speak our language. I wonder, is there a universal transmitter when we cross over? It would seem that thought.
Yes, I think so, because I think our ability to communicate bypasses all speech.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah.
Symbols,
So for whatever,
pictures.
yeah, images, because
Hmm.
I really do. That's why the all-seeing eye is such a big deal, because I really do think before anything is an image.
Yeah, yeah, I really do. And that's what I've been, and so we're talking because this is I'm experimenting all the time. What I've just learned, what you just said, is that I'm learning to see what images come to my mind.
Yes. That's why God said, come to me as a little child, because that's being able to see the inner vision, your inner television, which is your imagination. And the
Yep,
imagination is our greatest gift, because that's how we are connected to creation itself. Because through that inner vision, we can create, because we capture images from
I
source.
do believe we do. And I think they send us images.
Oh, yes, definitely.
I think they get caught sometimes up in the traffic jam of most people's thoughts. They go
Yeah.
by so quickly. And
Yeah. That's, oh,
it's like,
big time. Yeah. Oh, I missed it.
man,
You like,
what
oh,
was that?
where'd that go? Yeah. Bring it
Yeah,
back.
you
Yeah.
know,
Where'd that go?
it's like, dang, and
Yeah.
I've seen it. In moments of creating when I'm writing, you
Yes.
know, it,
The
yeah,
pen can't keep up with the mind.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's tough. I
It
feel you on
is.
that one.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, but that's what I'm learning. And in fact, oddly enough, it's amazing when the student's ready, the knowledge comes. And I've actually just got a book recently that teaches that what they teach in the schools, the mystic schools, is that's one of the techniques is to allow the image, not the word, not the thought.
Yeah. Yep. They
If a
do. No,
spirit,
it was like in the beginning, it says God produced its image.
yeah,
Yeah. I think
yeah.
it's first. I think it's first.
Yeah, I mean, if you take it from what the text says, he said, let there be light. Well,
Yeah.
light is, it can't be defined.
Nope.
I don't know what that light was.
I think it's information. So
And
I
yeah,
think when they said let there be light, they dropped the program code into the water,
mm,
and then it takes on the consciousness of the information, because water does that. It becomes what is put into it. So
yep.
what Yeah, so it seems to me it was a dropping in to the waters of information.
The
And you
book we're
see that
studying,
codes.
he brings that out so well is that you and I are talking, but there is a million things going on around us, information. And you and
Yes.
I are just getting this little tiny sliver.
Yes,
Yeah,
because it's all we can perceive in these bodies that we're
yeah.
in. Yeah, these bodies we're in.
Yeah, I mean, we're just getting a slice. This is a tiny little slice.
And I
And
think that was the greatest thing, is in this construct to be completely so separate from what you are, and to actually have a desire to return to it, to find communion with it once again, to return to yourself and to find yourself, to fully know more of yourself. I think that's what God is all about.
I think you'd be right on. I think that is spot on, Trina.
It is.
And that's this thing, because people don't understand is that just because for myself, I don't adhere to a religious belief, don't think for a second that,
You don't have to.
yeah, I mean, come on now, you can shut me out the door, but hey,
Wayne, it's so funny. My children were little, because we've never been churchgoers. Why? Because the Lord was like, don't go there. I was like, okay, you know. So yeah, so they never were either. And it was so funny, because a lot of the Christian families, their kids would come to our homes, and the way that we lived, and we prayed, and we do these things, and we live consciously. And I was always teaching them, control and manage your energy, because nobody else can, but your energy is affecting the whole. So if you can't shift your energy, remove yourself, because it's not good for anybody. And I would teach them responsibility, and we were very faith-based. And I have a lot of religious stuff around the house and stuff. And all these people would be like, wow, you're so religious. Where do you go to church? And I was like, I don't. And they would just be like,
It's like, what?
Because I think I was the most, like, almost one of the most religious people they had seen. So, and they, they were at church every Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
But the way that we lived and the way that we try to manage the energy, with a higher consciousness of awareness of what you think about, you bring about. So check yourself, check your internal thoughts. I mean, we've been working on this for years, and my children have just been raised with it.
There comes a time when the walker outdoes the talker.
Yeah.
You can walk that which people talk,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll never realize that the paths are so similar. Well, here we go again. That hour went by quick. Like,
I
what
hate
the
when
heck?
that happens.
It's like, man, okay.
I'm like,
It's like, that sucks.
wait another week to chat with our friend Wayne.
Yeah, it's like, I love our time together. It is cool.
Too.
You want to take us out? And folks, I just want to say thank you.
Yes.
You're what makes
Love
this
you
community.
guys.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, Miss Trina, take us out.
Oh, well, all I can say is that without you, we aren't. So thank you all for being here and going on this ride with us and learning and seeking truth. Because I think at the end of it, that's all we're trying to do is remember what we are. And when we do remember what we are, we will affect the world we see.
Far out. That's all I got to say. That is spot on.
Much.
All right, folks. We'll see you later. Be good to yourselves. That's the best thing. That's what we're trying to say. Trina, hold on, and we'll get out of here, and we'll talk a little bit. Thanks, folks. Yeah, you see, folks, we're going to talk offline. Mm-hmm. All right.